Forget Twilight. Forget Team Jacob. I'm on Team Flock.
For sure, if we fade, then it's a lie. But you know we are the sun, and we'll walk
This
through
is
the
Lost
day
Books for episode 6 entitled Sundown. This week we'll discuss the beauty in destruction, comment on the awesomeness that was this episode, and make several Star Wars references. If you're a fan of Empire Strikes Back, then you will love watching this episode. If I may quote the movie Clerks, Empire had the better ending. Luke gets his hand cut off, finds out Vader's his father, Han gets frozen, taken away by Boba Fett. If this season starts looking like Return of the Jedi and there's even a hint of Ewoks, I'm gonna flip out. The ending to this episode changed the whole game. We're talking one of the best villain-driven, slow-motion walk away from an act of destruction ever. Anything I say won't do it justice, so let's just get into the episode. Boom World starts with Sayid in a cab pulling up to Nadia's house, where we assume he's gonna see her for the first time since escaping Iraq. But no, he's Uncle Sayid, and Nadia's married to his brother? Plot twist. Sayid is much more awesome as a cool uncle. I'm imagining Uncle Jesse. Is this the same brother that Sayid had to break the neck of the chicken for? Let's assume yes. It's just so painfully obvious that Nadia is still in love with Sayid and vice versa. Dud World, where for every man there is a scale. One side good, the other side evil. At least they admit the truth that everybody is capable of good and evil. However, what is the measure of what tips the scale from one side to the other? I mean, how much good or how much evil a person has done? Or does a single act of great good outweigh many little evils? I mean, the machine apparently was able to measure Sayid's good and evil, and it tipped towards the wrong side. Although I'm pretty sure everyone's bad outweighs their good. You think you know me, but you don't. I'm a good man. For a moment, I thought it was an MTV Diary episode. Dogen and Sayid end up having this epic fight. But I'm confused. I thought Dogen couldn't kill Sayid. I thought that was why he had Jack try to poison him. Why is he now trying to take matters into his own hands? Dogen gets the upper hand with a scalpel to Sayid's neck, but then stops the second the baseball hits the ground. Obvious thought is that the baseball reminded him of something, either a promise or a memory he'd rather forget. Outside the temple, where Claire and Flock discuss their plan. If Claire can just walk over the ash that's on the ground, why didn't she just move it out of the way so Flock could get by? I mean, isn't that how he escaped the cabin in the first place? A comment later made by Lennon suggests that the ash isn't the only thing that's keeping Flock out of the temple, so the question becomes, what is the purpose of this ash? Boom World, where we find out that Sayid is still a torturer in this reality and not jumping from country to country, instead, a guy who loves his family. But of course, Sayid's brother needs him to do something for him again. Dud World, where Sayid is banished and Miles explains to him that he was dead for 2 hours and it wasn't the others who brought him back. I think this is the moment where Sayid realized he was in some trouble. This might be why Sayid agreed to do what Dogen asked him a little later on. Claire walks in, and once again, don't shoot her. Why not shoot her? What would happen if they shot her? Once again, what are the rules? How many are there? How specific or general can they be? Can I play too? Or is this the type of game that I won't be allowed to play like when I was a kid? Childhood trauma! You know, Sayid doesn't seem confused that Claire is there. And now Dogen enlists Sayid to do the dirty work of killing Flock. With a dagger. You know, I don't think physical weapons work on someone who can turn into black smoke. Dogen says that the second that Flock speaks, it'll be too late. That really doesn't leave much room for error. In order to prove that he is good, Sayid has to kill someone who is believed to be evil. So to be good, you have to commit evil against someone who is evil. Confused? Yeah, me too. Boom World, where Sayid's brother's in the hospital, and hey, was that Jack walking by? Yes, a lot of people have said that this season is very similar to season 1, where everyone's flashbacks were overlapping each other's storylines and whatnot. Even the order of centricity from season 1 was matching episode for episode of this season. I mean, first it started with everyone's flash sideways, then Kate's, then Locke's, then Jack's, but then it stopped there. You see, in order, this should have been Sun's flash sideways, but it ended up being Sayid's. But then again, the episode was called Sundown. But we barely saw Sun, and no one knocked her down. Sayid wants to go take care of the men who did this to his brother, but Nadia wants him to go home to take care of the kids. Dud World, where Miles is so bored, he's playing solitaire. I just realized something while Kate was talking to Miles about Sawyer. Miles knows Sawyer a lot better than Kate does. He spent several years with Sawyer in the 1970s, whereas Kate spent about 100 days with him. Take that, Kate. Sayid's walking through the jungle, and that sounds like the smoke monster. There he is! Kill him! Yes! Dagger in the chest. But it doesn't work. Now, why would Dogan send Sayid on a mission to kill Flock when he couldn't be killed? One, Dogan sent Sayid on a suicide mission to take care of him because the darkness was growing inside of him. Or two, something went wrong when Sayid tried to kill Flock. Like, Flock said something right before he was stabbed, thus causing Sayid's inability to harm him. Either way, Sayid's screwed. Flock is confirming the suicide mission theory, but can we believe it coming out of Flock? Flock wants Sayid to deliver a message, and he will give him anything he wants in the whole world. Imagine anything you want in the whole world. This is starting to sound like the box that Ben was describing to Locke a few seasons ago. And of course, Sayid wants Nadia back. Boom World, where we had an unfortunate incident involving a boomerang. It's funny how Sayid was a torturer, and now he's torturing himself by being Uncle Sayid to Nadia's kids. No, seriously, can we? Because I'm never really sure when we can use that word. Dud World, and we're not wasting any time. Sayid's there to deliver the message. Jacob's dead, and none of them have to stay there anymore. They're free. There's the flight attendant, Cindy, and the kids, Zach and Emma. I'm not really sure what their importance is. What happens at Sundown? You die. My God, she has lost it. And I love Claire for it. By admitting that she took Aaron and raised him as her own, Kate's pretty much signing her own death warrant. Claire is going to destroy Kate. He's coming. From the moment that Sayid said he had to return the dagger, you knew something was going down. Boom World, where Sayid is taken by a bunch of cronies to the guy that his brother made a business deal with. Wait a minute, that's Keamy. Martin Keamy. He was the leader of the mercenary team off the freighter from season 4. Sayid and him had an awesome fight before Richard shot him in the back but didn't really kill him, but he died later on when Ben stabbed him for killing his daughter. What's the significance of Keamy cooking eggs? I mean, I'm really interested. They focused in, and they had this camera angle. Holy crap, Sayid's shooting people. Did you see Sayid's face before he shot Keamy? That was classic. Jin? What the heck is he doing there? Last time we saw him, he was taken out of line at the airport. How the heck did he end up there? Dud World, where Dogan is basically telling his life story. He was a businessman who worked at a bank. He got drunk. He went to go pick up his son from baseball. There was an accident. His son died. He survived. In the hospital, a man came to him and said that in order to save his son, he would have to go to the island and get a new job. But he could never see his son again. Holy crap, Sayid's drowning Dogan. First, he tries to stab Flock. Now he's drowning Dogan. Sayid's on a roll in this episode. Aw, the baseball. The smoke monster alarm sounds. Lennon comes in to get his throat slit. And here comes Flock. Before he died, Lennon said that Dogan was the only thing keeping Flock out. How does that work? How can a person keep out the smoke monster? Was he imbued with some kind of power that repelled Flock? But then again, Dogan said that if he left the temple, Flock would kill him. Here's Smokey! Hey, at least I know that scene was in The Shining. Alana, Frank's son, and Ben are at the temple. When did they get there? And of course, Kate wants to save Claire. When will she stop? Oh my gosh, Sayid has lost his mind. Alana knows something about this temple, like she's been there before. She apparently finds a symbol on the wall that I found out was a Shen ring. It apparently translates to mean protection. So obviously they were protected when they got in, but how did she know it was there? The ending of this episode was one of the best things I've seen in a while. The creepy, soft voice singing Catch a Falling Star and Stick It in Your Pocket, it just gave me wicked chills. Dead bodies, slow motion walking, unspoken looks, destruction, cats and dogs living together. Unbelievable. Just seriously, one of the best endings ever. Sayid and Claire are like disciples of Flock now. Is Kate one of them too, or is she just playing along because she doesn't know any better, or she needs protection? This is the beginning, the first strike in the war. Flock's army versus everybody else. If you didn't hear the Empire theme music in the background as they were walking away, I don't know where you were. Everyone else is on the run, a ragtag team of rebels that have little to no chance of winning. The other side's got Alana, Frank, Ben, Sun, Jack, and Hurley. Team Flock, Sawyer, Claire, Sayid, possibly Jin, and Kate. If you doubted that Lost was headed for one of the greatest endings in TV history, you were dead wrong. One of the best things to realize is that this season has only taken place over the course of one day. This episode was the catalyst of plot and blew the mind of any die-hard Lost fan. I'm just getting this feeling that things are going to get better and better. Alright, you wanted it, you got it. Message board. Chatter. Wink. I found this post on the message board by someone named Mangana, and I'm just gonna read for you from their post just this wonderful explanation of this episode. What a beautiful poem this Sundown episode is. The unspoken words, as highly emotional and even as violent as the physical. Just under the surface of illusion, stacked upon illusion, a relationship between hope and truth explored in eye glances, gestures, implications, and consequences. This is one episode I very much would want to be in the writer's room as it was created. I love the unexpected beauty of this show. Has there ever been an episode that opened the dimensions of other realities with the direction of the unsaid word? And that's the truth of living in this existence of dual realities, the conflict between the external realities and the internal wishes. They can kill you, or maybe just make you dizzy as you watch from above the swirling conflict and keep hoping. I'm afraid it's too late for me, says Sayid, as blood dripped from his knife. Indeed, perhaps for all of us. Once again, one of the most beautiful things I've ever read, written by a poster named Mangana. I got a message from someone on YouTube named Indie Lost, in which a theory was proposed about the Shepherd bloodline. What if Aaron and David are the future Jacob and Man in Black of the island? People have always theorized about Jacob and the Man in Black being Jacob and Esau from the Bible, brothers. Aaron and David are cousins. Aaron's got blonde hair with a warm disposition, whereas David has dark hair with a gloomy disposition. There's not a lot of evidence to support this, but it's interesting to think that the Shepherd bloodline could be the key to the whole thing. There's a lot of talk on the boards about the true name of the island. One of the top names that's been floating around has been the name Cork. What does that mean? Somebody suggested that I look up Cork Island, and it directed me to Cork Harbor, the second largest natural harbor in the world. Second behind Sydney, Australia. Not only that, there's a place called Cork City located slightly upstream, and they have a suburb named Black Rock. I also got a message from The Sleepless Dreamer, where it was pointed out to me that in back-to-back episodes, we were introduced to children who only exist in the Boom world. What will happen to the lives of Sayid's niece and nephew, or even David, if the Boom world falls apart or ends up merging with the Dud world? Next week's episode is entitled Dr. Linus. I cannot wait to see Ben as a teacher. I envision him a creepy, yet engaging professor. Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket. Never let it fade.